Hello guys, Sam Mark here. So earlier today, Jim Ross posted on his blog that there could potentially be some involvement with him in the WWE Network. This is the following that he wrote. Regarding my potential involvement with the WWE Network, we are in the preliminary talking stages, but I'd love to participate with them at some point in the future if schedules, etc. can be addressed. I've been a subscriber since day one and love the network and encourage all who haven't given it a try. So, nothing whatsoever is etched in stone, but there is dialogue ongoing and we will see where it goes over the next few weeks and months. It's all positive, which is where healthy negotiations begin. So basically, the WWE is in talks of having some WWE Network show in which Jim Ross hosts or stars in. I don't think that he's going back to commentary because, with guys like Kevin Dunn in there, there's no way that they would want to have Jim Ross in there because he has an accent, a southern accent. Freaking idiot. So, this marks a potential return, but what does this say about Jeff Jarrett? Because he also wants Jim Ross in. So, are they both going to go back and forth to try to get Jim Ross back for each other? I don't really think that the WWE really wants JR back. I think that they just don't want him going to GFW, Global Force Wrestling, Jeff Jarrett's new promotion. Because Vince McMahon, for whatever reason, absolutely hates Jim Ross. I mean, it's pretty clear. I mean, if you see the product, you see how he treated him over the years, and see how many times he got fired, and the way that he really got fired, it's pretty obvious to say that Vince McMahon isn't really a big fan of JR. Not to mention, he also puts a ban on all of his wrestlers to not appear on the Ross Report, Jim Ross's podcast. So, for whatever reason, he doesn't like the guy. I mean, the guy was the best commentator you ever had, next to Bobby Heenan. He brought in plenty of good talent before, guys like Stone Cold, friggin' Mick Foley. So the guy's been a valuable asset to your company for so many years. But just because you don't like him, you're just gonna boot him out. It's the story of WWE. But in my personal opinion, I think that they don't want Jim Ross. They just don't want Jim Ross to work for Jeff Jarrett because Vince McMahon doesn't like Jim Ross, but he hates Jeff Jarrett. So that is the main reason why I believe that they are in talks with negotiations, because they wouldn't have fired him for that little reason. That whole SummerSlam, that controversial SummerSlam panel back in 2013, they wouldn't have fired him for some random reason if they didn't want him. They clearly didn't want him, and they were just looking for an excuse to fire the guy. So why all of a sudden are they so interested in good old JR when obviously they didn't want him to begin with? So that's the report, guys. In my personal opinion, WWE just doesn't want Jim Ross to go to GFW because he clearly stated on his podcast multiple times before that he is interested in working and that him and Jeff are in negotiations. So I think this will lead to sort of like a bidding war over JR to see whose services we get. Personally, to me, I really hope he goes to Global Force Wrestling over the WWE because I'd rather have Jim Ross go out there and do what he does best, better than anybody right now in the world. And that's be a wrestling commentator than to be some host or whatever the hell they're going to make him do on the WWE Network. Because we all know he's not going back to commentary no matter what happens. But my opinion doesn't really matter. What matters is you guys' opinion. So down in the comment section below, tell me, would you rather have Jim Ross work at GFW or WWE? So that's it, guys. Remember to follow me on Twitter at TheSmark for my live reactions to pro wrestling shows like WWE Raw and NXT. And maybe here and there, TNA Impact and SmackDown. So until we meet again, guys, stay gold and have a good one.